We're going to continue our evaluations going division by division in the NBA. Today, we will be covering the Southwest Division, which has the defending Western Conference champions in it. How do we feel about the division? Who's going to come out of it? We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. We got C-Dub, Big Kev, Stevo, myself, Haize, all in the building today to talk about the Southwest Division. Fellas, the last division that we did was the Atlantic Division, which is one of the deeper divisions in that Eastern Conference. We're going with the Southwest today. We're going to start off with the defending Western Conference champions in the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks in the offseason didn't really do well. They did make some major changes, losing Derrick Jones Jr., Josh Green, and Tim Hardaway Jr., replacing those guys with Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall. Did they do enough when you already look at the role players that they added in PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford? Do you think they've done enough to give themselves the best opportunity to repeat in the Western Conference this upcoming year? Who wants to take it away first?
I think the bulk of what they did was in the year prior. I think the Washington move with Charlotte, as well as drafting Derek Lively, did wonders for this team. It's probably one of the main components of why they made it to as the Western Conference Finals, and as far as they really did, and to the finals as well. I mean, the Western Conference Finals. But I think when it comes to now adding Klay Thompson and what you say, Nazir, Klay's easily better than Tim, especially with Tim with his production already, alongside with his production is not exactly where you wanted to be and his injury risk. So it's like, would you give from Klay? Yeah, it's more of a he's getting older. He's got the whole quotation that he's falling off a little bit, but I still think Klay is better than Tim. So with that being said, I think they're going to be a viable spot to be ending up back in the same position that they were. They're going to be a solid team. We know Luka's going to Luka. I do think that they need to, Jason Kidd and the whole staff need to talk more with Kyrie and see if they can find it to be a little bit more comfortable for Kyrie, because I think it was times in the playoffs where he was just waiting. And in the playoffs, you can't really just wait. You have to have moments where you need to make your mark and be able to be Kyrie in certain moments, and not just at the end of the game do it, because sometimes it's too late. So I like what they did. I like Klay Thompson. I like the moves. They did lose some people, but I think with Derek Lively, PJ Washington from the years prior, and then bringing on Klay Thompson, I think they're going to be back in the same position. I think they did pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. I thought last year that it was the best team that it was around Luka Doncic for its entire career as an NBA. I'm gonna say that this is a better team, and it's basically off one player, and that's Klay Thompson. Everybody think Klay Thompson had a drop off year last year. He averaged 18. He shot 40% from three. Now let's just add that now you got two ball dominant, ankle breaking. They gonna get to wherever spot they want to do on the court, guys. I think besides a big man to Luka, like Lively the second, the best compliment to Luka will be Klay this season. He will be so ginormous for this team. And I think absolutely I agree with Steve. They could be right back in the Western, coming out the West, to tell you the truth. They could be.
I mean, some teams in the West got worse. Dallas didn't. It's not like they necessarily got way better, but they definitely are still a really good team, man. Luka Doncic just showed what type of player he is, and he's only going to get better. What is he, 22, 23? Kyrie showed that he could.
I think.
Well, okay, whatever. It's still super young. And Kyrie is Kyrie. Hopefully he can stay healthy and stay focused. But they also added Klay Thompson.
25.
You can't ignore the Klay Thompson addition. And I do feel like Klay Thompson was kind of hampered from the Golden State Warriors traditional basketball play. Like they run the same plays, they do the same things. Klay Thompson is going to have a lot to prove this year. He's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's going to go out there and show that he not only is he still a good basketball player, but he's a Hall of Fame player, because that for him it might be still in doubt in his own head based on being lost off the
Oh,
you know
in
what I'm
this
saying.
head. You
But
saying this
that's
head? Okay.
yeah, based off being left off the top 75 list and so on and so forth. He wants to prove that he's still a really good basketball player. And Jason Kidd, man, he got some new toys to play with. Spencer Dinwiddie made his way back there as well.
Facts.
So I
I forgot
think
about
that's something that keep an eye on that one right there too. So I'm excited to see Dallas.
Yeah. I just got one problem with this team is
Wait,
that
hold on, Dub. Say something, Kev. Yeah,
that.
Kev,
Yeah,
way out.
your bike just cut.
Your mic and audio, I think he can't hear us either. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Kev. Go ahead, Dub. We'll get Kev back.
yeah, the one glaring problem I see with this team, y'all, is perimeter defense, especially guarding the wings.
Was that?
Derrick Jones Jr. He was a big part of this team, especially in the
Yeah.
playoffs, guarding those go-to scores from those teams. And when you look at their roster, who you think that can be comparable to a Derrick Jones Jr., his athleticism and the defense he played last year, I really don't see it. I think they still can outscore people, but their defense is going to be a little bit down.
You gonna ask more for PJ, but go ahead, Haize.
Well, no, that, and I think they're hoping that Najee Marshall will come in and help a little bit with that too. Not to the level of Derrick Jones Jr., but he can help to the level of that. But I want to piggyback off what everybody's kind of said in this, is that for people who tries to act like Klay Thompson is washed, I get it that he's not what he was, especially defensively, but offensively, 18 points per game on 43% shooting. He still shot the ball 38% from 3-point range, and he played in 77 games last year. That's some people's best seasons. And so like, and that's the thing. Like we always, like, I get it when players aren't themselves anymore, that we like to talk about it as if like they completely fell off. Like, that's just not the case. And I think that Klay is going to be out to prove some people wrong, because people are talking about him like he's a washed player, and he's not. You know how much we would have loved to have a player that could average 18 on 38% shooting from three last year for the Chicago Bulls.
Come on, Patrick Williams.
Yeah, so
I just said it.
yeah,
Hey man, it is true he lost a step defensively.
He
It's
did.
true.
yes, several steps defensively.
But you can't lose it. Like when you're a jump shooter like that, you can never stop shooting a three. And he's not like bad trash athletically. You know what I'm saying? He's just not to the point that he was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
He's 34 years old. This is like, I get it that we see players consistently playing into 36 now. Like, but let's be clear here. Like 8 years ago, we'd be talking about Klay Thompson being in the twilight of his career. If he was able to put up these numbers, we'd be saying, hey, it's crazy what Klay is able to do at 34 years old.
That's facts.
So
yeah, we want to have our Bulls. We want some of our Bulls to be shooting 41% from three. We can't get that, so he's still doing that.
I mean, Klay Thompson, he got a lot left in the tank, man. This is a new era of basketball, a new age where players routinely play past 36, 37, 38. So we're going to see what he can do, man. How long did Ray Allen do it? He just became a straight up, strict spot up shooter.
Yeah.
Sure. And you also see
in the league.
And that's when he won his championship.
And you see people playing in the big three. What's Abdul Raif? What's his name?
Abdul Raif.
I think
that's how it is.
But you look at him, he like 50 and he's still out there shooting jump shots. So
yeah.
Too many syllables for me. So
another question: when is Luka gonna finally, like, you know what I'm saying, cross? Everybody want him to give him the championship, want to give him the MVPs. When is he actually gonna do it? When is he gonna do it? Is this
I'm gonna be petty. Will he get it? I mean, he's 25, so like he kind of neck and neck of what the same pace as what Tatum was.
Yeah.
So he got like this year and next year to get that ring.
And as far as MVP is concerned, they got to play better as a team. Like, that's a team trophy. I know it's an individual accolade, but if you're consistently 5th, 6th, 7th in the Western Conference, they're not going to give him MVP votes. Like, you got to be a top 3 team for that to occur. That's why Derrick Rose was able to kind of steal it from LeBron, even though I ain't gonna really, I think Derrick Rose earned that MVP But some
Hey,
people were arguing LeBron, but D Rose had the better
it's
record.
funny you say that. I just got an argument with this girl that said Nash MVP was better, and I'm like,
Huh?
Then
I
Derrick
said
Rose
he
is
had a.
MVP.
I said, bro, she had. I said like she had Amari. He had Amari Stoudemire and Shane Marion. Amari was
Son,
averaging 26.
Come on,
I
man.
mean, here's the thing: that 7 seconds or less offense was dope, but at the end of the day,
And that's another part of it.
yeah, Derrick
That's
Rose
like
was.
that's why it's like it's hard to give Nash. That's overrated as hell. You average 15 and 10, and you benefited because of the system and the players around you. You had Rajon Bell,
And
Shane Marion,
they was
Sean
trying to
Marion, I
change
mean,
they was trying to change the image of the NBA too, because after the Malice in the
I know
Palace.
we
and we
got more
still ain't
teams to
growing our
go.
fucking hair out.
I know
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got
Oh
more
yeah, we
teams.
got a lot. Yeah, we getting
And I was
sidetracked.
about to start a debate on y'all. So go
Yeah,
on to
let's
the
go
next
to
team.
let's
I
go
figure you're
into
gonna edit that out anyway, but go ahead.
the next team on the list is the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans added DeJounte Murray in a trade this offseason. They lost Jonas Valanciunas, Dyson Daniels, Najee Marshall, Larry Nance. They also got in Eve Missy, who's a young, promising big that I do like. I don't know how much he's going to play in his rookie year. We'll see. But they finally broke up some of that monotony. They get a true point guard in here. Still got Brandon Ingram on the roster on trade watch at any point in time during the season. How do you guys feel about the Pelicans and where their roster sit right now?
And that's why I don't really want to say nothing because I don't know what's the future for Bi. I don't know if he's staying or going. And to be quite frankly honest with you, I can't really answer. I don't really think they're gonna be that good. I just don't.
Mhm.
I think they're gonna hover around 35 to 40 wins. I think it's gonna take a minute, probably a year or so, to acclimate to DeJounte playing style. I don't know how that's gonna work with CJ still there. I don't know if Zion's gonna be healthy. I mean, we know they're gonna play. I do predict they probably gonna be one of the best defending teams in the league, but when it comes to that offensive side of the ball, I think that's where they're gonna mainly gonna struggle at, and just trying to get used to each other. Willie Green is starting to I'm starting to see the holes in his armor, so I don't think they're gonna be as good as predicted because it's just gonna it's so many news, it's so much uncertainty, whether it's trading and injuries, so it's just a lot of unknown when it comes to that organization.
Yeah, I'm right
Mhm.
there with you. I'm right there with you, bro. Like Zion has yet to be healthy, and then when he looked good in the playoffs, even in that situation, he left too
Got hurt.
early, got hurt in the game, and after he dunked on somebody. CJ McCollum is just it's the same situation as when he was in Portland. He just doesn't show up for the big games. It's tough. That's a tough moniker to have to deal with, but that's just what it is. Dejounte Murray is a stud. I like him. He's a good player. He could be a player that comes into this team and kind of helps them do better, but we'll see. Brandon Ingram, though, that's the big X factor. He's most likely going to be traded at some point this season, maybe even before the season begins. So you got to keep an eye out for that. But I don't know, man. I want to see Zion get a full 82 or at least a full season by today's
65.
by today's standards, right? Like, yeah, exactly. So, like, let me see him get a Joel Embiid season or something in there because I'm tired of seeing this
Crazy.
gentleman.
That's so crazy.
It's sad to say it that way, but this is what it is, But I'm tired of seeing this dude with immense talent go out there and just get hurt every year.
And you guys are absolutely right. I think the season really depends on Zion Williamson. But I would say this, like even without Brandon Ingram, they have a gang of young, exciting young talent on this team. When you think of Jordan Hawkins, you got Trey Murphy, you got this CJ is not young, but CJ is a talent. You
Hurt.
got
Herb
Herb
Jones,
Jones.
Herb,
Come on, they got some talent. You got the Puerto Rican kid who played in the Olympics, Jose
Alvarado.
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 And Eve Missy is he's a really, really good defender, dude. Once he
Mm-hmm.
finds his angle and once he finds his niche in this league, he's
We got to
gonna
get his
be
conditioning up.
absolutely
I think he's somebody who they're going to use him in spurts this rookie year. I think like he's probably going to play about 12 to 15 minutes per game, but he has to get that conditioning together. Once he does, he just excels at the things that old school centers excel at: rebounding, blocking shots, and he's really solid in pick and roll defense. His offense, the sky's still limit for his offense, but those are at least the things that he can do right away, and they may very well need that. So
absolutely. So and I just like the young talent. It's a lot of NBA teams with a lot of young good players. Um It depends on Zion. That's dicey because he's never really played a full season this day and age. Full season, like you guys were saying, 65 games. So it really depends on Zion if they can go to the playoffs and win like a round or something like that. It really does.
I think to me it comes down to this team is seemingly, and at least in my opinion, starting to make the moves that you have to put a solid team out there, even regardless of what's going to happen with Zion Williams. And now I do think that Zion and DeJounte, if they can get into like a pick and roll between Zion and DeJounte, could potentially be dangerous. So they've added some upside to them. They won 49 games last year, and I get it. There's still some uncertainty around what the future of Brandon Ingram is going to be. But I think that one of the easier things in the league to incorporate when you needed it for years is a point guard. And DeJounte, who's been in a situation that didn't necessarily fit his skill set the best, who's asked to do some things that didn't come to him, I think he's going to be able to do. He's going to be on ball. They're going to put the ball in his hands, and they're going to kind of force everybody else to react off DeJounte in a way. Like CJ, he's done it before. He's played with Dame Lillard. I think he's going to be able to fit in and play well. This Brandon Ingram trade, though, what type of player they get back? And don't also overlook Herb Jones could have a big season this year.
Oh, yeah, he had
He's somebody as well that we have, like, I really like Herb Jones for what he brings, not only averaging 11 points per game, but this dude is just efficient. 50% basically from the field, 41, almost 42% from three-point range. Like, he's just efficient. And it's easy to kind of overlook especially when an efficient player doesn't get these huge stats, but Herb Jones understands the ultimate role player. He is, not to say that he's the most important, because he's not the most important piece on the team by any stretch of the imagination. But for the acclimation of DeJounte Murray to work, Herb Jones could be a big part of helping keep the glue of this team together next season.
Absolutely. And DeJounte Murray, just say this. I thought that he should have stayed in Atlanta. I thought he was the better for the Atlanta Hawks. It's starting to look like you the problem, DeJounte Murray, though. Because when you look at San Antonio, why they got rid of you, Atlanta Hawks, I still believe in he a talent. But why you keep getting moved? Why?
Well, I think it's also
that was different.
Devin Vassell was in San Antonio. Him and Trey never worked in Atlanta. Like, there were clear things of. Also, I think San Antonio wanted to go younger, and that contract is.
They had Keldon too.
Yeah, Keldon. Oh, I forgot about Keldon.
They had Keldon, and he was coming off that ACL. Yeah. So it was a lot of reasons why they moved on. It was like
I don't think he's a head case at all. I mean, at least from what I've been seeing, I don't think. No. In terms of him being the problem, I don't think that's the case. I believe these are more business decisions and personnel decisions more than he's problematic for the team. If that's what you were saying.
No, not problematic.
Atlanta,
just his play.
I think Atlanta chose tickets.
No,
I think Atlanta chose tickets.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, they wasn't going to be with either decision they made, whether get rid of Trey or DeJounte. They're still going to be in the same situation. So therefore, they was like, I'd rather keep making money, and Trey Young game is more excitement to the casual view.
Hey, and shout out to Atlanta too for having those cheap concessions, because we can do is look and hope for the Bulls to do something like that.
Well, the Bulls have better food too, though.
That's a fact.
That is true.
The food at the UC, the food at the UC legit is like damn near you going to.
Yeah, I got filet mignon steaks at the UC. Okay, so
like Atlanta's like, hey man, you want these
some lemon pepper
Oreos?
You want some fried lemon pepper wings?
Hey bro, lemon pepper wet though is
lit. Now they doing the Costco model. They doing cheap pizza and cheap hot dogs at the same price that you get at Costco. So
hey bro, did you see the dude who wrapped the pizza around the glizzy at Costco? You didn't see that? That shit went viral, bro. Dude literally took the Costco hot dog and a Costco slice of pizza and wrapped the pizza around the hot dog, bro. And I was just like,
he made a glizita.
Is a fat, bro.
He made a glizita.
That's crazy, bro. And it be dominating the Olympics. It's nuts.
It's crazy.
Man, nonetheless. All right, man. Let's move into the next team on this list. That is the Houston Rockets. When you look at the Houston Rockets, finished the season 41-41. They went on that crazy run towards the end of the season in which they were trying to catch up with the Warriors for that last playing spot. They ended up not getting it. They acquired, basically the only addition to the team is Reed Shepherd, who they drafted number 3 overall. Was he number 3 overall?
3, yeah.
Number 3 overall for Reed Shepherd there. Some questions with the Houston Rockets team is, What's going to happen with Alfred Şengün now that he was back? When you look at how Jalen Green, his season really extended after Şengün went down. So there's some questions that are maybe brewing over the fit between those two players. You got to extend them soon. So maybe the Houston Rockets look to do something with one of those guys over the course of this season. But how you guys feeling about the Houston Rockets?
I mean, I like their head coach, and I feel as though they made such a run last season. I think they're gonna take a step forward, kind of like Orlando did this past season
That's what I was
in the
going.
Eastern Conference. They made some additions. Steven Adams is still there. Fred VanVleet signed a big contract, and he's important to the team. And you're right about Reed Shepherd, but I'm looking at who was it? AJ Griffin. Like AJ Griffin went there from Atlanta. And I don't know, man. I feel like this team is gonna just take a step forward, maybe win 5 or 6 more games and be in another situation where they're fighting for a play-in spot in a very crowded Western Conference. But they're a good, young, talented team. Like, you can't overlook these guys. Even one of the Thompson twins, he started to show a little bit more poise toward the end of the season. I'm in Thompson out there. So, man, I'm excited. Jalen Green took a step forward last year. I think he might even start taking those types of steps that my man in Minnesota, AE, took. Not necessarily to the same degree, but he can have AE type effects on the game.
Now, are you worried at all about the fit between Şengün and Green, because that leap came after Şengün went down? He became a better defensive and offensive player as far as efficiency wise. His true shooting percentage with Şengün there was 53%. His true shooting after Şengün went down 57, almost 58%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily worried. I just feel like that's a coaching thing. Now that they've gotten a good enough sample size to see what it looks like, you're going to have to work in plays for both of them to be able to function properly. So let's see what they can come up with.
And that's where I was going to. There is no way you cannot find a way between them to work. That can literally be Shaq and Kobe if you figure it out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I feel like if you do make that decision of picking one or the other, let's say you go the route of getting rid of Şengün, I feel like trying to see if I'm in Jalen and Jabari is going to fit. I feel like that's more of a harder task, because when Jabari comes into form and Jalen comes into form, they're going to be very similar, especially at the way they approach the game on the scoring side. And that's a 3-4 with a 2 versus a center and a shooting guard. So I will be, if I'm the coach, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like what Kev said, I'm trying to figure out how to make it work, because to me, there's too much potential with Şengün. We already know the potential that we got with Jalen Green. You got the team, you got the vets. Start making it work. You got to find a way to make it work. And it's like what he said. I'm kind of seeing. I want to see more of a Cleveland, Orlando type of year coming from them.
Mm-hmm.
And the key phrase for this team is time. It's time. Y'all been young for the last 2 years. It's time. Y'all showed us how it can look with that little streak. Oh, it's time right now. And
They're
you
still
didn't have
very
one.
young. Very young.
Absolutely. And you had one of your best guns on the bench too, and you still made that run. Add that guy in, and let's see how good you guys really can be, because you got all the talent in the world.
They still got Cam Whitmore too. Like, geez,
yes,
damn, I forgot about him.
They got a lot. They got a lot of depth here when you look at it. Amen Thompson, who started coming on more towards the end of that season as well, with that defensive upside that he has. Tari Eason has shown a lot of upside.
Damn,
Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore,
bro.
Hey, y'all want to make a trade?
Real talk. Let's get 1 or 2 of those about you.
But this is the key. I love this little point guard, Fred VanVleet. I love him, bro. Yeah, NBA champion.
Yeah, Rockford's own.
I love. Wait, let me finish, though, Steve. Let me finish. I know where you're going. Let me finish. I love him. He is a bucket. He gonna hoop every game. He gonna try to. He gonna give it his best. Reed Shepherd better.
I was just about to say, I'm fucking with you, Fred, but this is a no Diddy in the head. Reed coming.
He coming, bro.
Listen, but it's the perfect transition. Like, I think Fred VanVleet, if I'm not mistaken, has another 2 years left on his deal. I'm going to double check that. And so that's the perfect transition. Like, even if Reed Shepherd does take over the starting point guard role between now and next season, you have an additional year of that point, a veteran who's still very productive. You can move Fred VanVleet to the bench. Listen,
He did
Houston
it in
Rockets
Toronto.
team.
Is it only 2 years? Because he just signed with them prior to last season, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
don't know if it was a long,
Yeah, he
super
has
long
two.
deal.
It was
He's
only
an
a
unrestricted
3-year?
free agent after
Yeah.
at the end of the 2025-26 season. So
Okay.
He was already what is he? 27?
Yeah, he's
Who?
27.
Fred VanVleet.
Fred
No, he's
VanVleet.
30. He's 30.
No, Fred VanVleet's
Yeah, I'm
30
about to say
years
he's
old.
up in age. I didn't
Yeah.
think they didn't give him a long
He
contract.
he signed that shorter contract because he want to try to get one more payday before his career.
Well, I
Right.
tell you what,
He
depending
got
on
it.
Reed, we'll see if he gets that after that one. Because,
Boy,
hey, listen,
It's done.
Reed Shepard, I'm telling y'all right now, Reed Shepard may be the next great white point guard. Is all I'm saying.
for real.
No Capavelli right
For real.
now.
So,
Hey, I'm calling
He
it.
was raw in summer league.
I'm minus the playmaking a little bit. That's Lil Nash. I'm calling it.
Absolutely, 100. I'm with
calling it.
100%.
Reed Shepard gonna be nasty, bro.
He more athletic than Nash. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah,
Hey,
I'm really
who's
excited.
GM?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna act like I know who
You
this
do
is.
your thug thistle. That's all I gotta say.
Listen.
Oh, the GM. Yeah, he definitely doing a good job.
And the fact that they brought in Ime Udoka to be the head coach, they're like somebody like, because we know that he can develop a player. So like the Houston Rockets right now got to be. I know CW, we've had a conversation before about young cores in the NBA, but when you pair that with the coaching staff and the GM, this young core of the Houston Rockets got to be right up there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Hey, I want to say this too. They need Dylan Brooks too. They need him.
You do.
Oh yeah.
You need a bastard on your team.
Yeah,
they need Dylan Brooks.
Especially when you're younger and you're still trying to find your way. You got a guy in Dylan Brooks that, I mean, other teams hate him, but he seems to be a good teammate. So
great teammate.
That's what
you see what happened to Memphis once he left the team. A lot of shit started.
They had a lot of injuries other than that too.
A lot of shit started.
Yeah, but I didn't
and
agree
it started
with
with Dylan Brooks, and that
I
was
didn't like how they blamed him. I ain't.
They
gonna
put
lie.
all of it on him, and that's not cool.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
that was bullshit.
It definitely wasn't all on him. They used the narrative around him to make him the scapegoat, and it was not fair. But it is what it is. But speaking of, that's the next team we're talking about, the Memphis Grizzlies. This is one of the more interesting ones to talk about because they acquired Zach Edey, which could actually be pretty good for them. They lost Zaire Williams, but the biggest acquisitions that the Memphis Grizzlies are getting back is most of their roster. Ja Morant missed a lot of time last year. Desmond Bane missed some time last year. Marcus Smart missed some time last year. And
Derrick
then
Rose missed some time.
Derrick Rose. Well, that comes with Derrick Rose's name. But then they have a young emerging player that was drafted in the second round in GG that I wanted. Stevo would tell y'all I wanted the Bulls to get GG Jackson in that draft, bro. I get it. Julian Phillips. I wanted GG Jackson. You can go back to my draft analysis. I said the Bulls better get GG Jackson, bro. Go back and watch. I said it.
Good shit.
And what year was that?
I wanted the Bulls to get
2023.
That's
when we got Julian Phillips.
What's buddy that went to Cleveland? Amani Bates. Yeah, I wanted Amani Bates. But go ahead.
But
Bates.
So they got GG Jackson. We didn't really get to see him at all with Ja, things like that. Like they're getting Ja Morant back. They're getting all the other players back. Hopefully they can have relative health. How you guys feeling about the Memphis Grizzlies? Because this could be a team that very well could go from being outside of the playoffs last year to being maybe a candidate to be in the Western Conference Finals if this roster can stay healthy.
Who's their coach right now?
You don't know.
Yeah,
because I don't remember I can't pronounce his name.
Well, I know this. Ja Morant was on an MVP pace before he started to play with toys on camera. I also know
their head coach is Taylor Jenkins. Is his name?
Taylor Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. But anyhow, the point that I'm making is that exactly what you said, Haize. These guys are poised to catapult themselves right back into a top 3 or 4 spot, depending on how they play. Especially since a team like, let's say, the Clippers aren't going to be as good as they were. They lost Paul George. We don't know what's going to happen with Kawhi, if he's going to play 2 games a week or whatever. He got a weird situation out there. But at the end of the day, I feel like this team is poised to make a move up, man. Especially if Ja come with a real chip on his shoulder. He got suspended and then he got hurt. He got humbled, and that's really it. Like, is he truly humbled, or is he ready to take that step forward? And we already know what Desmond Bane's bringing to the table. I don't even know how they're gonna work Gigi into it, but dude is gonna be a beast, especially on 2K. I'm excited to see what Memphis is gonna look like, man.
Oh, they better find a way to put GG Jackson.
mean,
Hold on, why you look like that, Steve-O? You act like he not a my player, bro. Act
To
like you don't see him standing on in the lobby.
and I get it. Maybe this is me drinking the Kool-Aid too much. To me, GG Jackson should be a starter. You start John Morant, you start Desmond Bain, you start GG Jackson, you bring Marcus Smart off the bench because he's used to being the sixth man.
Yes.
You got Jaren
Absolutely.
Jackson.
You starting
You
him
got
at
Jaren
what?
Jackson Jr., Zach Edey at the 3.
So who the 4? Desmond Bain?
No, Jaren Jackson
No,
Jr. is the 4.
Oh, okay. So Bain the 2 and Ja the 1.
Bain's the 2. Yeah.
That works. That might what they have to do.
That's gonna be they death lineup right there.
I'm telling
That's
you.
speed everywhere.
When you look at this team,
I'm
bro,
not against it.
Yeah.
when you look at this team, bro, and you look at the ages of this team, it's still in the 2020 until you get to Derrick Rose. Until you get to Derrick Rose and Marcus Smart. They're the only 2 old heads on this team in the 30s.
Yeah. I think like what Haize said, I think the best thing is they're getting everybody back.
Yeah.
Especially like Brandon Clark. Like I think once Brandon Clark was like the number one, like when that went down, I was like, oh shit. And then he started playing with fucking Nerf guns and shit. And then everything went down. But with him coming back, hopefully the Achilles didn't take all his athleticism, because that was probably the biggest thing about him is rebounds, tip dunks, energy, defense. That was his thing. But you picked up Utah Watanabe. That's a nice role player. You picked up, you got Spottie Pippen Jr., who I feel like you should give him some burn on the bench, because he's a solid scorer. He can hoop. And I like, and of course you got your shooter. You got Luke Kennard coming out the bench.
That's it right there. That's 40.
I like it, especially if you're gonna have Marcus Smart coming out the bench as well.
And Luke Kennard went back there.
Mad.
Luke Kennard was a free agent. He decided to re-sign with him. That dude routinely shoots above 40%, 42, 43% from 3.
Hey, Drip, who gonna start at the 5, Drip? And you know I
Zach
did that on
Edey's gonna
purpose.
start.
Why you always gotta start some shit? You
But
know
I'm not
the fuck
starting. I just wanted to hear him say it. Look,
the damn dragon. He started.
Hey, I'm not mad.
That's why I said it.
I'm not mad at you. You had Zach Edey high. I didn't think he was going to be as bad as these other 2 gentlemen did, but we still got a lot to see. It remains to be seen. But I'm excited to see what Zach Edey does on the next level.
Okay, hey, Michael Oliver Candy got drafted high too.
He was a little different though.
Look, I like Zach Edey at the 5, and you know who is going to help the most? Jaren Jackson Jr. You already know he got a Defensive Player of the Year. Look for him to be running for Defensive Player of the Year this year.
He's close.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Edey made almost probably the most sense for Memphis than anyone, because you have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's still confusing because his skill set in shot blocking, the on-ball defense, everything, and the size, you just think center, or athletic modern-day center. But his production goes down so bad when he's at the center. It got to be mental. It got to be mental.
Why is that?
I never thought center. I thought Bosch.
But AD don't like to play center.
Nope.
Why?
Well, because it's first of all, it takes a lot of energy. You banging into bodies, so on and so forth. Playing in the post is just it's a taxing situation, like you just said. So
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why, because you got Whitby and Zach Edey's coming in the fucking league. Ain't nobody want to play against that shit. These motherfuckers,
Zach Edey love.
They're 7'4". Like, ain't nobody want to guard that.
Hey, it's still Big Ten over everything.
Until he proves it. Zach Edey still looks like he should be wearing a helmet. That's all I can say on that one, bro.
His head is the helmet.
I mean,
you see how big that motherfucker is? Shit.
He's 7'4". What the
and that head
is the 7.
Hey, you just got to make sure that he doesn't suffer any lower body injuries, because when you get to the 7, anything over 7'3", if it's an ankle, a heel, anything, it's all downhill from there.
It's true. Yeah, I can't hate on that. You can look at Manu Bowl from back in the day. Yao Ming ended his career.
Hurt one foot. It was over.
I just don't want him to be Luka
gravity.
Garza, man. Go ahead.
It's just gravity. It is. You're not supposed to be that tall.
Yeah,
You're not.
That's a fact. All right, and the last team in this division that we got to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs. Last year, the San Antonio Spurs only won 22 games. They added Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, Stephen Castle to that team this year. Wemby's going to take another step up. They got the point guard of the now and maybe the point guard in the future in Castle as well to grow with Wemby. How you guys feeling about the San Antonio Spurs heading into next
I'm
season?
gonna be real brief. They gonna be better, but not yet. Not yet. Not this year. We might get a little like 5-10 more wins, but not yet. Just be calm. Wemby will be fantastic. He's gonna get all type of notoriety in the league. He's gonna be up for awards. He maybe be up. He can't be up for an MVP award. He's gonna be that spectacular, but the losing record is gonna take him out of that. He's gonna probably win a Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it's all about Wemby and building around Wemby, and it's the first step. I like Mr. Castle. He's a good piece to add, but they still got some building to do. Not yet. Not yet.
I don't think they're gonna be like great or good. I think they're gonna be pretty good. Like I could see them possibly getting 40 wins. Like when you got a Harrison Barnes, who's a fucking that's a ghost pop. That's a Prepovich guy. If I've ever seen one, that's a Popovich guy. Alongside you bringing in Chris Paul, you're going to win some more anyway with Chris Paul. If he's healthy, you're going to win some more. And then I'm gonna say it. I've been watching a lot of Stephon Castle, and especially in the summer league, alongside with Chris Paul, he looked very SGA-ish.
Oh,
He looks real early Clippers SGA-ish. So if I already know Victor is going to have a year, I'm not. I'll be shocked if he just stays the same. But he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, lead the league in blocks. One of the best defensive players. He's gonna be laying the ball in from the fucking free throw line. He gonna
first
do that.
first team All NBA, Steve-O?
They might give him 2.
Okay.
It
They might
depends
give him
on
first. Yeah.
if they get 40 wins, they're going to give him first team All NBA.
Yeah.
It's gonna
If
happen.
they hear. But yeah. With all that being said, I think if Chris Paul is healthy on the back end of the season more, and Stephon is progressing how I think he will, alongside with Victor Harrison Barnes. You still got Dennis Rodman Jr. in the motherfucking. You still got him. Keldon Johnson is still there until further notice. So Devin Vassell. That's not a bad team. Like that team can shock a lot of people in the West. And like you said, I mean, Sacramento got DeMar, but I don't know. They might give them one for their money.
I'm gonna say it like this. Just like Houston made that run toward the end of last season, don't be surprised if you see San Antonio in the same position at the end of this upcoming season. Popovich is still a Hall of Fame coach. Victor Wembanyama is still an alien who really could have gotten some votes for Defensive Player of the Year this year if he didn't. Because I don't think Big Useless was the Defensive Player of the Year. I really feel like my man Victor Wembanyama was. So yeah, and grabbing Chris Paul is sneaky smart from Popovich, bro. It's a coach on the court, and that's what he thrives at. That's what Tony Parker was, a coach on the court. So not having that these last couple of years has hurt the Popovich brand. And the reality is, Chris Paul is going to give these guys at least 5 or 6 more wins than they had last year, on top of the other talent that they added to this team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them fighting for a play-in spot to maybe falling out at the end or maybe sneaking in at the end.
I just don't think. I think they got a lot of I hate to call them this, but loser play. I call them loser players. They get a lot of numbers. Just my opinion. I don't like Vassell.
Who's the loser player?
I'm telling you, Vassell and Johnson. They've been on this team for the last couple years. Has they impacted winning in any way before Wemby came?
No.
Yes,
but
Vassell,
we never.
yes.
I mean, I was just about to say, I don't think Keldon know because he was playing the guard position, but he's not a point guard for real. He's not a scorer like that. Devin is a scorer. Okay, he can score. He's going to beat Devin at any point. So I just don't think the mesh between them was good. Besides that, who was around them?
I mean, what you see here,
you got Harrison Barnes.
Guys are.
Harrison Barnes is consistently Harrison Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
What is Harrison Barnes?
15 to
solid
16 points a game every
Yeah.
night.
a solid veteran
Defender.
shooter and defender. That's what Harrison
Okay.
Barnes is.
Okay.
You got either Devin or Keldon coming off the bench.
Now that might be better them coming off the bench and they come in and have a different role because they've been starting before Wemby came and it just hasn't worked. Maybe their role or niche is coming off the bench and they'll be better players that way.
I think
Okay.
not Devin. I think Keldon getting traded at the deadline.
They need
Somebody
to.
getting traded at the deadline.
They need
Man.
to. They need to.
Man.
And
That's
Chris
why I
Paul.
said-
Ugh, come on.
But we seen what he did with OKC. We can't say ugh.
Is he
We
gonna
can't say
make
ugh with Chris.
it? He gonna make it though. How
He
many
did. He
games gonna
barely
play?
made it. He's going to barely make it every year. We know. It's Chris Paul. That's why I
It's-
said. That's why
At
I
least
clearly
he
said.
barely making it instead of not making it at all, like Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
That's a fair point.
Okay. I ain't gonna start nothing. Go ahead.
Look at C-Dub trying to be on his best behavior for once. I know this
bro.
man is. Any last thoughts here on anyone in the Southwest Division?
Yeah.
I ain't really think
to
about
win,
this.
to win the division. Give me Memphis. Is anybody picking anybody besides Memphis? Winning this division?
Dallas.
Dallas, nigga.
Oh, my fault. I got Memphis.
So Ja Morant's going insane this year, basically.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah,
What was they
hopefully.
before he got injured and all this other bull crap happened? They was on top. They was on top of that division.
Not,
I mean,
not
they
this
had-
year.
Not the one that just passed.
Even
Yeah,
when he
honestly.
came, I mean, they was getting booted in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
White
got
Sox
Memphis.
that came all the way
I
back.
got
baby.
Memphis. A hungry, mean, irritated young team. They coming.
And they
They
beat Memphis. They beat Dallas in 7
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Kyrie and Luka
Yeah.
with Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Look at him. Talking about some, yeah.
I forgot about Clay.
Look at
But
him.
yeah. Give me Memphis. Give me the
Yo,
underdog.
Your soul don't believe that.
We're going to see, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see, man. But yeah, with that said, man, make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. With the number one spot for everything basketball related. We up out here, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.